Damn. I honestly don't know how to start this. Just keep it P. I know it's a weird angle. You're facing my shoes. I don't want to really look at myself right now. Not due to shame or me trying to be different or anything. It's just a lot of things are going on right now. And why is that? That is due to the secrecy of my past decisions and me not speaking up upon my mistakes. And now that I'm older, you know, whatever is in the darkness shall come to light, they say. I'm not gonna recite any poetry or anything with religion or anything like that, but something happened in the past when I was younger, and then I told somebody that I was cool with, and then I guess they were talking to one of my relatives. My relatives found out, and then it just became a huge thing that was blowing up proportion. You know. Now that it's out, it's just mistakenly, they see me differently, and I knew it was gonna happen, and I knew I was gonna be seen as different because I didn't tell them when it happened or it's like the secrecy and the lies, and it's just it has come to a point where they question me about anything, and I totally understand it because one mistake I did was I was too scared to speak up, and now that it's out, I'm scared that they're gonna look at me as a victim, and I don't want to be treated as a victim or anything, and maybe most of it is my fault for not telling them, or not telling anybody, but it's just like I'm very sincere when it comes to this. You can tell a person that you're sorry thousands of times, but it doesn't really change if your actions doesn't match your words. And with that, my actions didn't match my words, to the point where I didn't think they were secrets. I just thought they were hiccups in my life, until they came out and they were like, why did you not tell me? It was so bad to the point where I was like, I don't want to be seen as a victim. I don't want no pity. I don't want to feel like I deserve some type of solidarity to an apology, I already get enough shit from my family, you know what I'm saying? But who family isn't dysfunctional in some way? But I feel like maybe that's why my creativity is so strong, because of the trauma, which is kind of crazy to say. The more trauma stricken you are, the more creative you are in some way of speaking. In the video I made before about, having kids, and even if you don't want to have a kid and stuff like that, and I feel like I was speaking from a point of view that I didn't see before now, and I feel like your point of view, it changes, you're indoctrinated to believe what you feel and all this, but it hurts to say this, but I wasn't honest with my family because I was scared. I wasn't scared of being hurt. I was scared of the disappointment in their eyes, despite that, I feel like I don't want to put. I felt like I wasn't gonna be shunned, but more of the fact that it was an open place for for being truthful and honest. But for some reason, I just can't. That's why I always call myself a bad guy, narcissist, a manipulator, and stuff like that. Right? I was aware of it, but I never mistreated anybody due to the fact that I wanted something out of them, or physical or anything, or financial. I just did it just to do it. And and that maybe that underlooming question was like, why were you such a dickhead in your past? Is it best to be good all through your life, or be bad and change throughout it? Honestly, I couldn't tell you. Honestly, because I can vent to you all day, and all this, but now, once I lay my head down today, I wonder if I wake up tomorrow and everything's going to be the same. Like, I'm a teenager, but I'm an old teenager, 17, 18. Like, I'm allowed to vote, basically, you know? Even with that, I used to sprinkle in a little bit of truth in my words and a little bit of lie here to soften the landing. Like, you ever tell somebody a mistake you did to soften the other mistake you did that was way bigger? Be like, oh, I ate a little bit of the cake, but the whole time your real thing was that you got a C minus on your thing. Doesn't sound too crazy, but that's tactical manipulation. And I feel like I can't blame anybody for my issues but myself. So that's why I was trying to change. But I feel like if you're changing for the wrong reasons, then there's no point in changing, right? If you're going strictly, if you become super religious just because you made a bad mistake, or you have, you know, like, psychologically scarred somebody to their core, is it truly a point of no return if you go that path, you know? But everybody everybody's perspective and their motives are differently, you know? I have been chosen over for plenty of things, and like, one thing I truly do hate is how I have become this person, you know? Like, I love that I'm becoming a better person, but now, like, all the secrets and all the lies are coming to fruition now, you know? A non-religious man starts to pray when his mistakes are shown, and I should know that because I tried, you know? And now I know, I truly know, like heartedly, that once another argument comes up, this issue right now that is being in face value, this issue will always be a reason why I cannot change in their eyes. You know, I know who the main culprit will be. You know, they might be caring now, even though, they have created me. I know later on, shit, who even knows? Maybe in a couple weeks, and if they start arguing again, or if there's an issue in the house, or there's a reason why I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do that. I know that it will be brought up. I know that my character will be diminished, and my mother's character will be diminished due to the fact what happened to me when I was younger. I know they're gonna bring it up, and what hurts even more is, I feel like I can no longer trust myself with anything. Like, you can vent all you want. That's why I feel like it's good to have connections. But I have isolated myself in a box, creating beats and creating all this. It's good. It's good. It's good for a creative standpoint. But now that everything's come out, what happened to me when I was younger, now I feel like I'm gonna be looked at as different, and it was so bad that my mom had to go. My mother had to go to a therapist. Like, to see why is her son breaking down. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is her son breaking down because she found out what happened? She's like, I thought you trusted me. I'm supposed to be your best friend. Stuff like that. I'm like, damn, it's fucked up. I was like, maybe if I told her, I just thought it was all go away. Listen. I might be very intuitive and very emotionally mature or secure in some ways, but practice what you preach, they always say. But I feel like it gets worse and worse every time. It's to the point where I'm like, damn, what am I gonna do? My life is over. But then I start to realize that I'm like, hold on, my life is not over. I might be anxious, I might not be able to talk over the phone, but like, I'm breathing. I still got all my limbs. I still can see. I'm physically, I am still well honed, and mentally maybe that's gone, but I just know one thing: I will be the greatest to ever do it. I know it's like how everybody has potential. When your mom says you have potential to be great, everybody has it. But it's what you do. Potential is basically something that isn't there something that can be better. So basically they're saying that, it might be a compliment right now, but if you see it now, you're like, oh, you're nothing right now, but I see you can be better. It sounds good, but when you break it down to its like minute sectors of what they're saying, they're basically being like, you're not good, but you can improve. It might be a compliment in some ways, but I feel like there's like, what I see right now I do not like, but I feel like it would be better. There's an advancement of what you do and what you can say. Like, who am I? And honestly, it's never too late to change. Yeah, I know, but it hurts so much, bro. I could be misguided and be like, oh, well, since the truth is already out, now I have another reason to hate that person even more. Because you told something that wasn't supposed to be told. And now that all shit, damn near every skeleton is out the closet now, it makes me feel like I was trying to put on this persona that I was just an average person and I was just a boring person, and now they'd be like, oh, your life is exciting, but not in a good way. You're creative in a good way, but not for the reason you think. The reason why you talk the way you talk and you act the way you act because of the trauma. But I say I have no trauma. It's always pointing the finger and who done it worse or who done it this, who done that. It's based off of what you have, and I feel like I hate saying feel, I know there's multiple people who have been in a similar situation or have felt a certain way about a certain topic or a certain situation of you doing something in your past that has come to light. So I give everybody leeway, no matter how bad you done me or how you react. I see the reason. We all got skeletons. Well, I wouldn't say all, but we all have some type of issue, small, minute or big. No matter how minute it is, it's always an issue of some sort. And now that has come to light about my past, I truly feel like there's more to me. And maybe in some instances, maybe these words will mean nothing to you because your life is just so great, or this might just feel like it's scripted or something like that. But I'm trying to be fully authentic. And as I say this now, honestly, this will be the one video, I'm not gonna lie, because I tell all my friends don't watch my videos. I tell all my friends, all my friends, everybody I talk to, I say don't watch my videos. They're gonna be corny and cringy. You're not gonna like it. You're not gonna be related. But this one, you go watch as you may, because this one holds a special place in my heart. Even though a lot of videos do, even though I have over 500 videos and stuff like that, it's more like a catalog of what I can be and what you should be, because I had this bias of myself, like, oh, I'm not good right now, but I could be better, right? And the bias was, oh, the only reason, yada yada yada, the only reason I'm acting like this, or the only reason I'm so bad, or the only reason I feel this way, because financially speaking, I'm not there. And shit, I'm not even gonna cap to you. Most of my problems is financial. Braces, taking care of others, taking care of children, all that. Me when I retire, my mother, the simple things. You want to be rich and change the world. Everybody wants that big idea, right? Everybody wants that cliche ending, that American dream, but you can't get that shit now, no matter who you are, And I can make this into a subdivision video of, oh, if you're this color, life is hard, but if you're this color, life is easy. I can do that simple bullshit, but I'm not gonna bullshit you, because if you're watching this video, you're damn near in the same shoe as me, I can go on and on about conspiracies and how the world is unfair and how there's so many death in the world and how I want to change everything, how I want to be this messiah, but it won't start until I internalize the self-hatred I had for myself, and why I felt like I had to lie about almost everything about my life, why I feel like I had to change my appearance, why I felt like I had to, you know, bring other people down when I was younger, you know? Like, I was self-loathing because it was damn near a tendency of narcissism. If you hate yourself or you super duper love yourself, it can come off narcissistic no matter what you're doing, you know, which is crazy, right? You can be diagnosed with all these mental illnesses and all that, but if you can figure out what was causing it and trying to change it, will you be better off? You truly don't know, right? And I'm gonna cut it to 20. I'm gonna cut it to 20 because like I still gotta talk to my peoples. I still gotta figure out what I'm gonna do now. I gotta do a lot, you know. But everybody has a sob story. Everybody has a life. So like, you can't feel entitled to somebody's opinion or somebody's emotions due to the fact that you're feeling bad about yourself or bad about others, you know. Because you put yourself in situations that you don't like I did, you know. You know. What's one thing I said, right? What's one thing I said? Did I say 20 minutes? Yeah. What's one thing I said? I said, even if the fault is 99% on that person and you still took a 0.0% of the fault, you gotta take 100% of it, which is crazy. But I feel like it's insightful for me. No matter what gender, what race, whatever you are, even if it was out of your control, but if you was in that situation due to the fact that you was pompous or you didn't understand what was going on fully, you might not agree with me on this because I'd rather you come to an understanding than agree with me. You have to take full accountability of that, right? Say if you if you have an unwanted child, right? Shit, man, that shit happened to me. I'm gonna have to take that out. But let me be serious. Say if you have an unwanted child, right, and the lady or the dude says you should keep it, right? Knowing you're impoverished and knowing you cannot take care of that child right now, yes, it is selfish to do that, knowing you're impoverished. But if you feel like you want to keep that kid, you want to keep that child, and you want to figure out a way to, you know, keep that person, you have to take care of that responsibility. And knowing me, I would probably try to figure out a way to run away from that responsibility because I don't want no kid at this age. I used to hold that self, and I had a problem like that. I thought I was about to have a kid. I ain't gonna lie. Still don't know to this day. Let me be serious. But yeah, I had an issue. I had an issue with that. I had an issue with a lot of self-loathing. You know what I'm saying? And even with this video, a lot of things maybe will change. A lot of things because I finally have figured out. When I turn the camera, I don't put on a facade like I'm this perfect person. I tell you I'm a bad guy. I tell you I'm a narcissist, you know. And I felt like every wrongdoing that happened to me, you know, watching my cousin get killed, yada yada yada, like everything, right? I just summed it up to life. You know, I didn't blame the world. I internalized it, which wasn't healthy. I internalized it and felt like, okay, this is what it is. And now that I see what happened to me before has come to light, and now my family knows it. It kind of, because now I feel fucked up because like my mom, she's like, you're my best friend. Why you didn't tell me? Yeah. Just like, nah. I'm like, okay, well, shit. Now she was crying. I'm like, damn. Even though she said it's not my fault, it's just I should have told her. It was more on the basis of, I'm like, damn, we all got our eggs in one basket. So how are we gonna figure it out? You know. How are you gonna figure it out? And honestly, you know, I'd rather have transparency than honesty. This will be the first video that I'm gonna be like, you can watch it if you want. Take your time out your day to scroll through it. You know, I'm gonna start making. You know, I used to make videos a lot. It's more like therapy on some shit, right? It's like I don't want to go to a therapist because they don't help. You know, they help sometimes, but they don't help. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a catalog. You know, I like music and YouTube will be my therapist. I can make my own therapist. I can figure it out, right? So now I'm in this predicament where I'm trying to figure it out. So that's really it. That's really it. I don't know. Should I stop it at 20? fuck it. We gonna push it to 21. We gonna push it to 21 minutes. Honestly, I said I was gonna stop it at 20, but like, you know, I don't really have anything more to say due to the fact that I gotta figure my shit out now, cause there was a point in time where I was hopping couch to couch and shit like that, and I'm steady right now. I'm steady. You know, we all got our issues, but my issue was I wasn't able to convey the reason why I act the way I act toward a lot of people. So I feel like, oh, maybe I can just turn on the camera and it'll be different. And it's still hard. It's still hard to this day. It's still hard to talk to. It's still hard to talk to my mom and my pops. It's still hard to talk to my half. It's still talk to, like, it's still hard to talk to all my family members. It's still hard to talk to my friends. I call my friends. It's still hard to talk to a lot of people, which is okay because it'll change later on. But I got a vision for myself, and in that vision doesn't fit where I'm at right now, which is okay, you know, which is okay. My mom just flicked me off. That shit crazy. Go back in the house. Yeah, but yeah, my peoples are coming back out. Ah, these niggas. But yeah, it was great talking to you, whoever sees this first, you know, and when you do see this, shit, I don't know, shit, text, call, comment, do what you can to communicate with me, because a lot will change for the better and worse, you know, a lot of cliche shit I be saying, but yeah, it's great talking to y'all. You see you tomorrow.